The criminal organisation known as Neo Seed has once again reared its ugly head, which can only mean one thing. It's up to hard as nails ninja bloke and part-time work experience shelf stacker Joe Musashi to put down his point and stop them before the Shadow Master cancels his universal credit. Shinobi 3 Revenge of the Ninja Master is yet another action-packed hack-and-slash game from Johnny Sega and the third in the series on the Sega Mega Drive. It promises to deliver more platforming thrills and spills, crazy gimmicks and a faster paced game style than an episode of the Antiques Roadshow. So with those clever blokes at Sega including it as part of the Mega Drive Collection on the PlayStation 2, I decided to take a break from teaching the ladies at Aqua Aerobics and take a butcher's at Joe's latest adventures to see if it's time to hang up his tights and collect his pension, or if this latest ninja offering is like my wit, charm and punning ability, which is absolutely flawless. Well, first impressions are certainly promising as the graphical style has been ramped up to the max. Everything looks purposeful here, with eerie woods, caves, research labs and factories offering a wide range of slow progressive challenge. The art style is colourful and the game sprites look like they belong in an 80s ninja movie. I mean, take a look at this level of detail in the cave and waterfalls here. Plus you get objects in the foreground as well as the background. It's all bright, colourful and uses wisely concentrated layers of parallax scrolling for the wow factor. Joe himself moves a lot smoother this time round, and it's clear that his Fitness First gym membership has helped him shed the beer belly, as he is pretty agile. This is not just another mindless button basher, as in order to truly get far you have to strategise and use the range of ninja moves and power-ups at your disposal. There are shurikens, daggers and power-ups to take advantage of, plus Joe's sword, which is surprisingly effective for a closed ranged attack. Joe can jump, double jump, do a rolling projectile attack and even hang on to pipes, the ceiling, and my personal favourite, he can wall jump. Someone's had their Weetabix. Top work, ninja bloke. And just like that stroll through Wolverhampton, you'll definitely be able to progress through the first half relatively easy, but the terrain gets bigger and more complex the further you get. Shinobi 3 is like a box of chocolates though, and sooner or later you're going to bite into a barrage of bosses which offer up a lot of challenge. There's everything from Shogun blokes, killer machinery, Barney the dinosaur and even good old Uncle Barry makes an appearance. Yes, it's going to take more than a Frank Butcher West End slap to put them away. Luckily, just like my own personal stalker, it's not too hard to figure out their patterns, and the adrenaline rush you get from clearing these guys is second to none. I did of course mention that strategy is key in Shinobi 3. As you can see by tapping start you have access to a wide range of special magic which, just like that pension plan if used wisely, will pay dividends. There's temporary invincibility, flame attacks and even a devastating suicide attack which not only kills you and respawns you instantly but will damage a boss. You will lose a life mind you, but as long as you have at least one other life to spare, you will be able to carry on. Just don't use it when you have no lives, as this will end your game. So you're going to want to play as conservatively as possible, build up your score, collect lives, power-ups and magic, and if all else fails you can always ring the Samaritans. The platforming though is not always straightforward, as poor Joe must do a lot of jumping, grabbing and shimmying, as sometimes getting from A to B requires a lot of thinking outside the box. I will say that this is genius, and just like an episode of Columbo with a man in the shabby Mac, it's not too hard to figure it out eventually. Plus those cheeky blokes at Sega have placed some lives and extra magic in the most difficult places and require a supreme mastery of Joe's skills and agility to reach at times. I think what's so cool about this is that in these situations they force the player to get good at the game and try and master the controls, and by doing this the player is rewarded for going off the beaten path. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Shinobi 3 is fast moving, and despite having my backside kicked, fried and boiled in a sunny side up type kicking situation, I was having so much fun that I was able to replay the game and get a little bit further each time. Now I can't do this review without mentioning the awesome horseback and ninja surfboard stages. What a stroke of genius, and definitely my favourite stages in the whole game. They break up the action nicely, and once again you are rewarded if you are quick enough to grab the goodies in these auto-scrolling masterpieces. Honestly, this could easily be the greatest platformer of all time on the Mega Drive. It really is exceptionally good. So, as I've sprinkled more praise on this title than a bird I'm trying to pull at my local discotheque, there are some things that I feel could definitely be improved upon. Grabbing and hanging onto the ceiling is a great feature, but sometimes it doesn't always work, forcing the player to ensure that they constantly push up and jump very carefully. I found this to be really annoying, especially when certain stages were built around using this process, so it may take players a while to adjust here. It's not a game breaker by any stretch, but for the game to punish you when you know you've pressed the buttons correctly just beggars belief and makes you have to do it again. I can see why the developers mapped out the control style here. They did it for realism, which is just fine, but it's a little too tricky at times. Also, this final level here is just like an episode of Last of the Summer Wine, too long, dull and repetitive. I mean, the electricity obstacles are a great idea, but they just go on way longer than they should. On the flip side though, this is an old school platforming game, so I guess there's some personal fulfillment on beating them, but still it could have easily been shortened. Then again, I am playing Shinobi 3 on the Sega Mega Drive Collection on the PlayStation 2, so using save states does take a lot of this frustration away. These two wishes aside though, this game is phenomenal. Now, my list of favourite games are just like my chances of pulling Kylie Minogue. They are very limited indeed. However, Shinobi 3 has made the list, and it does take a lot for a video game to impress me. But I can report that Shinobi 3 took me back to the 90s in a ninja-tastic nostalgia-filled time machine with Tori Amos and Alanis Morissette, with absolutely no irony or cornflakes included. So if you want to play one of the best ninja games out there, then slip on your best black pyjamas, grab a set of katanas from that nutter on the bus, and prepare yourself for an experience that's more interesting than a poor young concert. Well, that should do it for another week. I'm off to indulge in another few pints and witter on to the birds about my sad and tragic life in a vain attempt to get them to go out with me. Take care, and I'll see you.